morning and welcome to Cincy Lifestyle. We are so glad you joined us today. We got a great show for you. And Clyde, we are now 4 days into the new year. And are you tired yet?
Listen.
Oh, we're 7 days into we're 7 days into the new year, 4 days into the work week, I should say.
Oh, okay.
4 days back
all right,
to
that
work.
Works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you tired yet?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. As a matter of fact, in point of fact, I was cruising a certain social media site the other day and saw some video that kind of spoke to what it was like for me when I had to come back to a full schedule on Monday. This little puppy looks like me being dragged into work. Oh my gosh, I feel his pain. Look, I work with some great people here, especially, you know, the folks right here in the studio with me and those of you with whom I work at a distance, Swimbo and you and all that. So I love you guys, and I missed you over the time that we weren't together during the holidays, but for whatever reason, I had a motivation issue when it was time to come back to work on Monday, and I bet you did too.
I did, Clyde. You know what? In fact, I took all day Saturday and Sunday to just mentally prepare to come back to work. And that meant I ate some foods I shouldn't be eating, and I watched TV, more TV than I've ever watched, just to complete some series I had started. And yeah, just getting mentally ready to get back. But I love that little dog. He's adorable.
Oh yeah. When you look at that dog, if you see that dog again, you're looking at me. That's me Monday morning at 7 o'clock.
Well, all right. Well, we're going to switch to something that we dread to something that we're excited about and can't wait to hear about. And you're going to love this as well. More than 100 years ago, a woman from Savannah, Georgia, had a dream to help girls discover their strengths, passions, and talents. She called it the Girl Scouts. And these days, an iconic symbol of Girl Scouts are cookies. And this year, there's a new addition to the Cookie Clan. And here to welcome, I want to welcome Haley McGraw from the Girl Scouts of Kentucky's Wilderness Road. Thanks so much for joining us, Haley.
Thank you for having me, Mona. I'm so excited to talk about some new stuff this year that we have.
Me too, because, you know, I gave you, they called it, in the studio, they called it my resume or whatever of Girl Scouts, because I've done so much with Girl Scouts, from being a scout to a leader to actually working with the district. So tell us about the new cookie that's coming out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So we are so excited. Here in Kentucky, we have the new Toast Yay cookie. It comes in sustainable packaging. You see here. It's, you know, this beautiful green, and it's a French toast inspired cookie. I actually was just trying some myself. It is toast shaped.
Oh, no way.
With a nice little icing glaze on the back. And it tastes just a little cinnamon toast, French toast taste for you. So it's a nice sweet treat, you know, as we enter this new year.
Well, you know what? I know we are all looking forward, the whole team's looking forward to being able to taste those and getting back into the studio where you can bring some to us. That would be great as well. And I know they're going to be big sellers. I love that they're shaped like little toasts, too.
All right, yeah, so cute.
So the Girl Scouts, you know, they make money from this, but you have a new way for the Girl Scouts to ask people to buy cookies. So tell us about that.
Yes. So we have had a program that girls have used for a few years called Digital Cookie. This year we have expanded that Digital Cookie program app that girls can use on their phone or on a computer so that they can continue to send those live links to customers where you can purchase cookies to be shipped to your doorstep. And they can now also, new this year, take direct payments on that app, the Digital Cookie app, even right at a cookie booth that we'll start to see pop up at the beginning of February.
Wow. You know what? I just hope that so many people will come out and support the Girl Scouts and talk about, the money goes to the Scouts and to really helping girls just grow and achieve and learn and become just awesome. And you have so many ways that they do that, right?
Yes, so the girls are raising these funds to support their programming. So especially with the cookie program, it is a financial literacy program where they're learning 5 business skills like business ethics, money management, people skills. They are learning these skills now to use later in life. The funds they earn throughout the program, they use throughout the year as they do service projects in their communities. I know that even last year especially, you saw many girls out doing service projects with nursing homes, our frontline workers, as safely as possible. We will continue to do that this year. And a big part of Girl Scouts is travel. So we've had to, last year we had to postpone and cancel a lot of Girl Scout destinations, which girls use their funds to go on these trips. They might be in the United States, across the country, or even outside of the country. So, we want to make sure that people know the girls are out there. They're still trying to reach these goals, and you can help them, reach the goals by buying a box of cookies.
All right, so let's do that right now. Where can people go for information so they know how to order these Girl Scout cookies and support these girls?
Yeah, so right there on the screen, you see it. Go to gskentucky.org/find cookies. You can enter in your information to be connected with a local troop directly. They can, we can arrange a time to be connected with them, or you can do the digital cookie option that we just mentioned. And then again, at the end of this month and beginning of next month, we will start to see some booths pop up. We've been given the go-ahead by some of our partners and collaborators to get some safe and secure booths set up so we can still see girls out there selling cookies.
All right. Well, we hope everyone will go out and support this effort. Haley, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you so much, Mona. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Clyde?
We've just crossed over into 2021, and it was a subdued transition this year thanks to the coronavirus and other factors. But of course, that's a rare kind of New Year's Eve, especially when measured against New Year's Eve 100 years ago. 1921. The way that New Year's Eve played out is surely a Cincinnati curiosity.
100 years ago, New Year 1921 announced itself with a bang. Several bangs, in fact. Cincinnati's newspapers reported dozens of gunshot incidents as if the city were a free fire zone. One man was arrested for firing 4 shots out his bedroom window as bells and whistles welcomed the new year. A Cincinnati patrolman found a group of men firing pistols at an electric street lamp. 2 bandits and a federal guard were both shot while the bandits attempted to hold up a truckload of bootleg whiskey transported through Cincinnati. Arthur Spiegel, beginning a brand new term as police court judge on New Year's Day, found 4 cases of discharging firearms within city limits on his docket. Perhaps Cincinnati was just trying to find a new way to blow off steam. The transition from 1920 to 1921 marked the first New Year's Eve under the iron thumb of Prohibition. Alcohol was not totally absent despite the new federal law, as citizens often had private stocks remaining legally in their own houses. But partiers were still testing the limits of public drinking by sneaking the odd flask or 2 into a hotel ballroom. Part of the somber celebration might be attributed to economic problems as Cincinnati suffered, along with the rest of the United States, through the financial depression following World War I. The papers featured cheery messages from bankers and businessmen promising better days ahead. That a new era was dawning was made clear by the announcement New Year's Day that President-elect Warren Harding would eschew the traditional horse and carriage and ride to his inauguration in an automobile. A local company announced plans to build Cincinnati's first large parking garage, a facility designed to hold 1,000 cars. The days of horsepower were numbered, and Cincinnati streets soon belonged to the automobile. Prohibition inspired the big political debates in 1921 as reformers and their opponents plotted or feared what was next. Some expected that prohibitionists, after banning alcohol, would ban tobacco next. Others shuddered at the prospect of a national blue law prohibiting theaters, athletics facilities, racetracks, concert halls, and restaurants from opening on Sundays. The Cincinnati Enquirer editorially raged against the blue-nosed reformers it labeled a, quote, frenetic minority of alleged purists, close quote, who wanted to outlaw any sort of fun. Well, one good and wholesome endeavor did thrive in Cincinnati in 1921, and that was competitive walking. The idea of long-distance running had not yet taken root, but high-speed sauntering, well, that was in its heyday.
And right now, I want to welcome the man who curates these stories, Greg Hand. Greg, thanks so much for talking to us, and Happy New Year. We're going to get right to it here. So why do you think so many people were firing guns? Didn't they have any fireworks back then?
That's an excellent question, because fireworks were kind of prohibited during World War I. They wanted to reserve all that gunpowder for ammunition for the troops overseas. And as a consequence, it was very difficult to find fireworks well into the 1920s because the fireworks factories had given up all their supplies for ammunition. As a consequence, going into 1921, you couldn't buy firecrackers, but you could sure buy ammunition, and they used it.
So how many automobiles drove Cincinnati streets back in 1921?
This was the turning point, the tipping point, if you will, in Cincinnati. Before 1920, 1921, automobiles were relatively rare, and they were the exclusive reserve of the wealthy in Cincinnati. And so you might have only had a couple hundred automobiles. But the fact that they announced that they were going to build a 1,000 car garage downtown reflected the fact that with Henry Ford and a number of other manufacturers, people who were not wealthy were starting to acquire the automobiles, and a lot of them worked downtown. They had no place to put these things, and so they were parking in alleyways. They were parking on top of Fountain Square's pavilion there. They had no place to put these things. More importantly, they had no streets that would accommodate them. If you look at street scenes in Cincinnati before 1920, people are walking in the middle of the street. Bicyclists come by in the middle of the street. Horse-drawn carriages, wagons are all in the middle of the street. After the 1920s, there were so many automobiles that they started passing jaywalking laws to keep the streets reserved for automobiles. So this was a big turning point in Cincinnati.
How long were these walking races?
See, this was one of those moments before sports fans found out what to do in the winter. It's gotten to the point where between the end of football season and the beginning of baseball season, you're now into baseball and hockey and a variety of other sports. But in 1920, they really hadn't filled that gap. And so people would engage in all sorts of activities. And for instance, we had a champion walker, a national champion walker living in Cincinnati, a guy named Sebastian Linehan, who in Cincinnati did a 50-mile walk at one of the local gyms. And it took him about 9 and a half hours. And the gym was packed with people coming out to watch this man walk around in circles for 9.5 hours to do this 50-mile walk. They had smaller races, 1-mile races, 5-mile races, that sort of thing. Linehan, who lived into the 1960s, was instrumental in creating the traditional Thanksgiving Day run that takes place in Cincinnati. So it grew out of this walking mania.
Greg, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Always a pleasure to be here. Take care. Happy New Year.
Wow, he is so much fun. Well, coming up here on Cincy Lifestyle, car shopping looks a little different these days. But if you need a new pair of wheels to get you back on the road, you might want to listen to this first. An auto expert will give us his tips for getting the best deal when it comes to getting a new car. And we'll give you all the details on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
I'm Casey Mason here with MorningSave.com lifestyle expert Callie Moore for some New Year bargains. Hey, Callie.
Hey, Casey, we've got some great products, and as always, the deals are amazing. First up is the Macion's 6-piece divided glass food storage. This deal includes 3 divided glass containers and 3 locking lids. It's the perfect set to start some healthier habits in the new year. The lid's lock tight and it's microwave and dishwasher safe.
And what's the savings, Callie?
Well, we've seen this price for as much as $50, but with MorningSave, you'll get all of this for $19. That's a 62% discount. Next is the 3-pack Handy Guru refillable hand sanitizer wristbands. Now just fill the silicone band with any gel or viscous product of your liking. It's perfect for hand sanitizer, sunscreen, and bug repellent gel.
And what's our deal on this one?
Well, this set sells for up to $45, but with MorningSave, you get all 3 for $15. That's a 67% savings. Next is the Philips Viva Collection multi-chopper. The chop drop technology will evenly chop onions and other vegetables, while the separate high-speed blades grind meat and more. It's equipped with 2 speeds and it's super easy to clean up.
And this can actually auto-detect what function you need and then adjust the speed. Is that right?
Yes, Casey, how cool is that? Now, this whole set is usually as high as $90, but MorningSave has it all for only $25. That's a 72% savings. And our last product is the Glossmetics Luxe 4-in-1 Sonic Facial Cleansing and Exfoliating Set. Buff away dirt and debris, leaving you nothing but smooth, soft, glowing skin. It has 4 interchangeable brush heads and it is waterproof.
And this actually comes in mint, gray, or purple.
Yes, that's right, Casey. I love the mint. Now, normally this sells for up to $130, but at MorningSave, it's only $20. That's an 85% discount.
Wow, Callie, thank you so much for sharing these early bird bargains. Be sure to head to MorningSave.com for these and other exclusive deals. All products are shipped directly from a U.S. warehouse.
With the new year car buying season underway, this year, things are a little different. For example, people are doing more research at home and planning to spend less time at the dealership. And joining us now to discuss some helpful resources that buyers should be aware of is automotive expert Nick. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, Nick, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected the auto industry really as a whole?
You know, it's been tough. It's been really tough for the auto industry. A lot of factories shut down. And for the consumers, of course, a lot of people not being able to get out and buy vehicles. But that's changing. A lot of people now have been turning earlier to purchasing vehicles or definitely doing the research online earlier than they were before the pandemic. They're using those digital tools that are available to them, and they're actually getting online and doing their pre-qualifying for financing, and they're doing their car information research much earlier, way before they were going out to buy a vehicle in the past.
All right, so people really are approaching buying a car really differently during the pandemic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one of the things that people are doing as well is they're looking at using those digital tools to definitely do the financing ahead of time. So I partnered with companies like Capital One's Auto Navigator. I actually found my new vehicle that way before I had partnered with them. And they're using those digital tools not only to pre-qualify for financing, which is really important. That was something that everyone did after they had found the right vehicle to purchase. They thought about the financing secondary. Now a lot of people are doing that way before they head to the dealership. It's much easier to do that. You can actually get all those boxes online. You can find out your interest rate. You find out what it is personalized to you. You can find out your payments structure over months. You can see everything in all those boxes. And then you can also shop for the vehicle online in one single app. Once you've done that, all the buttons are there. You just print it out. Then you have the vehicle that you found at a local dealership that you're looking for. You can take both of those to the dealership. The last portion in that actual piece of the puzzle is the test drive, which I always recommend everyone does a physical test drive. That becomes the last portion of actually getting a vehicle. Once the test drive's done, it's basically just signing the paperwork and driving away that shiny brand new vehicle.
Well, those are great tips. And I shared with you that my car is 20 years old. So here's a question. What are people looking for when they're selecting a vehicle this year?
It's interesting that pickup trucks are still one of the favorites of Americans. They still like the pickup truck. It's still the light pickup trucks are still the #1 seller in North America. But it doesn't mean that we're not all buying everything that's individualized for ourselves. And I think that's one of the beauties of shopping online, right? At something like Auto Navigator, you can see the whole breadth of what's available at local dealerships. You can do searches for specific styles of vehicles or specific models. You can choose what your lifestyle will inherit. It's interesting that Capital One just have a newly released survey, and one of the things that I believe that the pandemic has done because of digital shopping, the new survey shows that in 2018 only 14% of people thought that the car buying process was actually transparent. That has jumped in this new survey to 2020, that people are saying 40% of people believe that the car buying process is now transparent, and I believe that that's going to continue because of the digital process. Now you can see everything online, you can see all the boxes, you can see exactly what's happening in the transfer of a new car, and you can see all the data, as opposed to a little man sitting behind a curtain and passing you pieces of paper. Now you can understand everything as it happens in real time.
Yeah, that is much better. So, Nick, where can people go for more information?
It's very simple. You can go to CapitalOne.com/cars to go to the website for Auto Navigator, or if you want to go to the Apple App Store, you can just download Auto Navigator.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for talking to us today. Good tips.
Hey, we've had a great time this morning. Hope you have too. Thanks for watching. That's Cincy Lifestyle for Thursday, January 7th. Make it a great day. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. Now, if you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button. You can also check out full episodes of the show you've never seen before, or watch your favorites again and again. And as always, be sure to make it a great day.